it's time for a training session with Alfie where we're going to be working on his skills to help prep for Canter. So here we are in the round pen. The idea was to start here so that way it'd be easier for him. And you can see as we're going around in here, he's kind of looking around at some things. So we're just starting at the walk and trying to make sure that he's really relaxed. And then as we're walking around, something started to happen in the distance. You'll see in a minute here. So we're starting with a little bit of trot. You can see somebody else is on the outside of the gate there just grazing their horse. And he had a couple little moments where he's like, okay, do I stop and get a cookie here? I have to just introduce where I want him to go. And I'm doing a little bit of sitting trot, just kind of going around. And you can see I'm doing a little bit of bouncing on him and just getting him to go nice and comfortably. Practicing with starting him to go with a little bit of a faster trot and just helping him move out. So we're just really trying to help him understand this is my seat, this is what I do, and allowing him to move out and move forward. And you can see he's pretty eager to go, but he's not picking up any canter or anything like that. So something had happened where he was kind of looking out at everything else, and then I can't remember what it was that happened, but there he did a really nice fast trot for me, so he's gonna earn his little cookie. You'll get to see a little bit more of him going around. So he did a really nice job. You can see I'm just kind of pausing there, giving him a good opportunity to think about what's going on, giving him a little bit of praise, make sure I rub him all around, tell him that he's a superstar, giving him enough time to think about what just happened. And then we're gonna continue on. So as we go around, I start a little bit with that trot and I experiment with my weight. Sometimes I go a little forward, sometimes I go a little back. And then sometimes like here, I'm holding on the horn and I'm just allowing him to freely move. So I'm just experimenting with asking him for that faster trot and just seeing if there might be any natural instinct for him to go forward. Because here you can see he's not looking out anymore. He's totally relaxed going around the arena. He's giving me a nice fast trot. And then there he did a little bit of kind of a scoot. So that could have been maybe something caught his attention or maybe there was a little bit too much pressure. And so that's okay. I just ask him to go forward afterwards and move on. And then I'm going to go ahead and make a little change for him and do something a little different. So when I do a little turn like this, often I'm just trying to relax them a little bit, use that inside leg and just make sure that they're really soft to my leg and that they're not getting upset about anything. So I don't want to make it like a big issue, just kind of saying, hey, like come off the inside leg, it's okay. And then here you can see he's going to earn a cookie. So whenever my horses seem to get upset about something, like he had that little scoot, I wanted him to move forward at the trot and be okay with everything. And then I wanted to really isolate the issue and use my inside leg and turn him around, do a little bend, and then do that little sideways that we'd already worked on previously and he had really settled on. So here we're going to go around the round pen again, and you can see he's going around pretty nicely, like he's comfortable in the arena. Here he's going around the rail, he's not looking at anything, so I'm holding onto the horn. He goes to kind of stop at the gate there. He's like, maybe we can be all done. And I'm just holding and trying to give him his head, give him some freedom, and just suggest that he would be allowed to move out. And you can see then he's starting to get a little bit sticky. So it's not the end of the world. Here you can see I'm going to turn him around again, get him unstuck a little bit again, and try to get him loosened up and get him nice and soft. And then I'll ask him to move out again. So as I explore moving them out and I see a little bit of this tightness show up, I then want to work on that to get relaxation here. So even though I'm like, okay, we probably won't get canter in this session with the way things are going right now, the goal is to loosen him up and get him really freely moving and make sure that he's not upset in any way, shape, or form, that he's using his back and able to use his hind end. So as he's going around, you can see I'm really doing lots of sitting trot, getting a nice forward movement going on, and he's giving me a really nice trot. He's moving out. And there he had a moment where he almost startled a little bit, forward a little bit. Could be that we were doing a nice forward trot and he wasn't sure if he should go forward and kind of got worried about it. So not the end of the world. I just ride through it calmly. There's no big kicks or anything. And of course I don't have any spurs on. I don't have any whips or anything like that. I'm just riding him gently forward to get a nice rhythm. I want to feel relaxation through his back, and then I'll turn him or stop him on purpose. And doing lots of these little turns and changes. I'm using my legs. So here I'm going right into that sideways. I want to make sure that he feels really relaxed and that he's not getting upset by that leg at all. So I'm just moving him right off of that inside leg. And then I'm going to give him a cookie. So I want to really try to help him find that relaxation. So there, he wasn't sure which side he was going to get the cookie, and so he did. So I worked on getting him really soft, and now this is a totally different ride that I'm also working on doing some different things with him. So again, I'm going to start with kind of bending him around. You can see I'm doing a bit of a one rein bend there, asking him to come to the side, and then use my hand as a target to help get him to come all the way around. So rather than getting into a pulling match, I use that target hand first for a touch and then for a cookie there to help him come all the way around. And I just want him to be really relaxed through his body. I don't want to start to create any tension whatsoever. And as little pieces come up, I just want to make sure I address them, not ignore them, because I don't want to be in a situation where I get so focused on Canter that we get going and he ends up, getting too tight and going into a bucking fit. I don't want to have any of that. Whenever I see any of that tightness, I want to just work through that, reward him, and then carry on. I want to see the most effortless Canter, just totally natural and easy for him. So you can see now I'm going into some trot. It's looking really nice, starting with that sitting trot. And I do little pieces too that aren't necessarily in the video because I didn't want to take like a 40-minute video for you guys of the whole ride. So I do some walk trot transitions and some other things, and sometimes I do a little bit of groundwork too as I'm gearing up for the horses. And then I'm just showing you guys some highlights of things that are happening. So here we're starting to move into a little bit more trot. You can see we're doing a nice forward trot there, and he did it really nicely. So I'm going to praise him, make sure I tell him that he's a superstar, give him his cookie, and try to aim on that side of rewarding him when he's doing things that I want him to do, to try to keep that relaxation in there. And it's a little bit of a playing game of, I want to ask for a little bit more before I offer that cookie, but if he gets a little bit too tight, I might realize that I asked for too much. And so I have to experiment with what that sliding scale is. And very similar to kids that are going to the school for the first time, and they're going to kindergarten or grade 1, and they're learning how to read and write for the first time and spell. They're learning so many hard, difficult tasks. And sometimes they need gold stars or stickers pretty frequently just to keep motivating them, because what they're doing is pretty hard stuff. And then sometimes they get pretty excited about it and they don't need to have gold stars and stickers. So it's very much the same with horses. It can be a little bit of a playing game of how much reward do I need to give. And even there, I was doing walking. Oh, this is the part I was talking about where he's looking at something. Something happened on the outside of the arena. I can't remember if they were taking horses out or moving a tractor. They were doing something. And so he was looking out and I had to stop for a little bit. And this is us picking back up again, because when I'm training a horse to do something, I don't try to do multiple things at the same time, because that's just really hard. Just think about it. If you were learning how to read or write for the first time, that's hard. You don't want to do that while also being in a room with a bunch of bees flying around. That would be overwhelming. So here, same thing. I wanted to work on trotting and progressing to maybe some canters and stuff, but I couldn't do that while a distraction was going on at the same time. So once the distraction was over, now we're just kind of picking things back up again, getting things going, giving him cookies and stuff. And then here's kind of fast forwarding a little bit to him speeding along in the session where he's moving out really nicely in his trot and doing a really great job. And you can see I'm bouncing around in the saddle a little bit and really getting my seat going. And that's just helping him learn to move out really nicely. So he's getting really comfortable with my body. And then I'm going to stop him, praise him, give him that cookie, make sure he knows when he's doing a really good job. And just try to build that relaxation all around. And then I'll show you guys another little clip here of him going around after a little bit more miles going on him. So you can see his head starting to actually come a little bit more down. He carries his head a little bit on the up just to help with balance, but you can see as he's getting more relaxed, that head sometimes comes a little bit more lower. And then we have lots of great fast trot little pieces here. You can see I'm praising him, telling him that he's a superstar. And sometimes I give him a cookie and sometimes I don't, depending on how good I feel like he was. Sometimes I just tell him he's great and he gets to have a little rest break. And then sometimes he gets that cookie, depending on how awesome he was on those go little pieces. So we're going along again, asking for that go. And look how relaxed that is. That looks so nice. Looks like a really nice little trot. So he's doing really, really well there. We are now jumping ahead to another totally different session. And same thing, going to show you guys moving him out, asking for a more trot as we're kind of going around, and just kind of trying to give you guys the idea of, I was thinking about Canter and prepping him for Canter, and this is so many sessions. I forget how many, again, off the top of my head, but we're looking at several sessions to try to build him up and prepare him for that Canter. So I think probably we're somewhere around 10 sessions of just, building up that faster trot, bouncing on him, going forward, backward, seat moving around, leg moving around, making sure he moves off the leg okay. When he started to get tight, doing those sideways, everything, other little piece on him. So there's lots of little things that are popping up. And as all these clips are happening, you're getting to see that there's lots of sessions that go in. So it's, for me, asking a horse to trot or canter for the first time, it's not a matter of just applying lots of pressure and making the horse do it. The idea is to have the horse totally relaxed and willing through the whole process, and that it's going to be a nice, easy canter, not a bucky canter, not a takeoff canter, not a big, massive scoot canter. The hope is that the horse is going to end up just easing into that canter really nicely. So here I am going again around the round pen, and you can see I'm really holding on to that horn, bouncing a little bit, offering him the rein. Like I've got my hand that's holding the reins is quite forward, and there's a little bit of slack in the reins. There's enough slack that he could stretch or that he could go, and I'm holding to try to stabilize myself and just go with him. And you can see he gets into a really fast trot, and he almost moved his legs a little bit like a canter. It was really kind of hard to tell. And then he's going to get a little reward there again. And then now heading out on another lap here, asking him for that fastness, asking him for a lot of speed. I tried using a pole.
Alrighty
so
then.
Sometimes what happens is when you do this really fast trot, it can help if you have a pole or a raised pole to ask the horse to go over, and sometimes that causes the horse to step into a canter. So I thought, you know what, I'll try it and see how it goes. You can see the tiny little raised pole there, but it didn't end up causing him to canter. So I was like, okay, well, we tried, we gave him lots of opportunities, so no big deal. So this is now another ride where I'm just showing you how I mount from the ground and how awesome he is about that. There's so many skills that we've worked on, that we've built in, that he's doing really well with. So the groundwork, the tacking up, the handling, mounting from the ground, you can see he's totally relaxed. Here going into some trot, and he's totally relaxed. I'm showing you this after he's already done some warm-up, and he's doing really well. Look how his head is already relaxed and down a little bit. So he's really starting to settle in, and he's moving off the leg really nicely, going forward nice and fast, but not getting into the canter just yet. So we're really making a lot of progress, but I wanted to show you guys how much time goes into doing this really relaxed.
Remember to subscribe and check out harmonyhorsemanship.com for even more learning.